welcome back to the second half of Hacking Infinity, the Eschaton. Uh, but you're doing that thing with your face again. It's fine. So, uh, you were in some way contacting Quasi. Uh,
Yeah, what kind
is
of?
this is this like over the mindscape with you like either in your uh, like in personal chambers or in the you know in the big audience chamber, or are you like trying to arrange to visit personally, or are you trying to set up a meeting somewhere? Uh, what are we looking at?
See, Laser put in our chat, ship, 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 and I and I can't tell if that's meat on this ship
I
or
don't.
if she's shipping.
I don't remember typing that. I don't think that.
Mhm,
It's they're shipping it
mhm.
on a ship.
Mhm.
Ship.
Yes, it's my shipping ship. The ship I ship on my ship.
Yeah.
I would just how I would like to proceed is I'd like to have a little smidge from where I left off last time, and then go to like the next day where I would hopefully maybe say the thing that was with me was yesterday, and then today I show up on the planet for for the day of greeting business.
hmm
Sure.
So I have a question. When I was holding like my court, uh, I think we established that you were there on the day that Aerothin were there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think we ever addressed this at all, but why were you there on that day?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping the problem I have now is in the past, and then I'm there. Or was this like the last?
So you're on planet during this time, and then like we
I
conduct
thought they
some
were
sort
playing
of.
an advisor. I didn't know that they were playing their main character. I thought they were taking on the role of an advisor.
That sounds familiar.
I just didn't get to say anything.
Okay. An advisor to Aerothin or to me
you.
or oh, okay.
They were part of the court scene?
Yeah, I remember that part.
Okay.
Where the person with oh no, that's a different person I'm thinking of.
Well, let's not get too bogged down. But can we say like tomorrow? Note use of air quotes. I can sort of show up in person if you're happy for us to meet face to face.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So yeah, I just want this little moment where like we sort of last left Quasi, where they were sort of like brooding in their sort of personal chambers, and part of the idea with the worshippers is they have all these like really horrible mantras that are like these sort of like tough guy military like true believers kind of thing, and one of them is like no sleep, only death, and that's that we don't actually ever sleep. We just die and get recloned every day. So you just go as long as you can. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 days. You just go as long as you can, and then you die. You never get to sleep. Only die. And so
and there are drugs that can extend that out for a week or so.
Oh, of course, longer, yeah. I do quite like drugs. So yeah, like Quasi sort of brooding in the personal chamber, and they're sort of seeing like things starting to spin out of control, and you see there's the sort of schematics for their body, and they basically just sort of like editing it slightly. They're kind of making it a bit less human-y, a bit more insectoid, a bit less androgynous, a bit more feminine. And yeah, they're just sort of like redesigning themselves. And then they sort of save it as the sort of default template, and then they go down into like the ship's into like the underbelly of the ship, where the spirit of the goddess is, this sort of black biomechanical nanite goo is, and it's sort of like constantly shifting and changing. Like it's this amorphous blob, and then it's like a black lotus, and then it's a blob, and then it's a tiger, and he basically just like goes in there, and I don't know, depending on like what rating we're going for, you'd maybe see it through like like shutters or shadows, or if we're going for like the hard eye, you'd like see it all. But he just gets like consumed by the thing, and like he tries to be sort of brave and like accepted at first, but then like the survival instincts kick in, and they just like die horribly, like with it like going into their mouth and stuff, and just a horrible shrilled just being dissolved by this black amorphous goo. And then we would cut to like them like popping out fresh from the cloning bay the next morning and plugging in the coordinates.
Well, and if you're arranging to die, you could just arrange to wake up on Labra.
Oh, like in Nia, yeah. They could just clone me up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, email Miss Specs over, and if I could just like come out with like smoke and still fabulously dressed, obviously.
For sure.
So what is your relationship? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What has our relationship been like in the past? So we've mentioned before that I've been like distracted with all of my own stuff, but we were able to maintain a relationship for a little while. How did that work?
I definitely imagine it being very one-sided. I think as well he was like super awkward and blunt with you at times, like like, oh, would you like me to murder someone for you now? Would you like me to perform a sex act on you? Just like really just like just no like sense of like how to do a relationship, just as
tactless.
In like tactless. Yeah, and almost like that you were my job now, and just like trying to please you was like my job, but I had no idea what how to go about doing that remotely.
Heroin used to be my main man. Maybe you can be my main man now.
I just got out of a relationship with Jesus, and I'm something to fill the void. Space Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm almost thinking that Alaska liked that part of the relationship where you would just like do anything for them. Like, I think they kind of like found that like there are many people, definitely not including like a bunch of us at this table, that are like, oh, the fact that you would do anything for me is super fucking weird and creepy and stalkerish. Alaska is like,
but also kind of hot.
Somebody that would follow me to that depth is amazing. I don't know many people that would do that. That's a rarity to me, and I will.
You will freeze and then stop talking if we'll never know. Nope.
Almost.
No.
Hello.
Am I back?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So what were you saying before the internet so rudely cut you off?
I was saying that
you got to I would, and then it stopped.
See, I don't know what thought I would trails off of, sadly. But the general thing that I'm going for is that it's not that you were doing this weirdness that turned me off to you and made me go do my own thing. It was that I was doing my own thing, and I was just obsessed with it, that even that thing that I really liked about you just faded into the background, and I couldn't reciprocate anything.
Yeah, you took it for granted.
Yeah, that's perfect.
took the unstable murderer for granted. Classic.
Tale as old as time.
So
What are my chambers like? Because
yeah.
you got to be in my chambers, right?
I guess so. I mean, I also, so the thing I was going to interrupt with is, sorry to be that guy, but I am that guy. But does when I get responsible, does my power armor spawn with me? Because what if ninjas attack and I don't have my power armor? And I'm like, but Brad, I've got power armor. I mean, what's the deal with that?
Hmm. I That's a good question.
Like, is my skin just power armor? Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Um, we that actually is a pretty good way of handling that, I think, in this case, and that yes, whenever you reincorporate, it's generally like in that power armor, but it's like specifically keyed to you, so that so the multiple copy thing. Yes, it's possible that there's multiple copies of you, you specifically in that power armor, or that there's the possibility for that, but you can't just lend it out to others.
Yeah, no, there's still only ever one. Yeah, totally. Sorry to derail with that, but
No
what if ninjas attack?
That's good.
So yeah, so what's your your boudoir, your inner chambers look like? Over designed, I'm imagining.
Mm-hmm. Maybe there's like things hanging from the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Like cloth things, or like chandeliers, or
I
something
imagine lots
completely
of
else.
sort of furry things of like different bright, oversaturated colors and shiny things and fluids moving about in, weird zero G, like, kind of swishy swashy things.
Mm-hmm. Like the clamshell.
Ah, the aquarium floor. Yeah, that's that giant clamshell with a bed in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Aphrodite, and why not?
Yeah. I'm like, I like that idea, and I think I'm going to like work with it and tweak it.
Mhm.
Like maybe it's like instead of being like a kind of round clamshell, it's kind of like sharp, like almost like
Space
like
clams.
yeah, exactly, like oyster-ish,
Mhm.
more so. So it's um
So it's asymmetric, or
yeah,
okay.
it's like maybe almost like a pod or something. Like it's more of a pod sort of feel than like a room.
Yeah,
And
I'm
maybe it has a
imagining.
window in the back that unfolds onto my planet. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the color scheme?
I think dark navy blue. And I think that's maybe like orange backlighting. Like peachish.
Okay, cool. And is so Quasi, did you call ahead, or is this like is this out of the blue?
Um, I think it's out of the blue, but it's on the day of doing business things. So it's like, yeah, it's out of the blue, but I know you're not on holiday today, so.
Mm-hmm. I have an idea. Maybe all this is happening on the last possible day that I can do business. So the meeting where I give Aerothan the terraformer is just like, this is the last possible day that we can squeeze in. All that happens, boom. you show up, and then like when we're finally able to meet, I am back on holiday again.
Yeah, so this is like the evening. So say like,
Yeah.
you
This
close.
is the first thing I'm doing on my holiday.
Yeah, you close for business at like 5:30, and I arrive at like 5:31. So you're like, business is closed. It's holiday.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So, Quasi, do you knock, or is there just like a chime saying that?
Well,
That,
I'm coming
well,
out like
hold on. I'm sorry. Or I just wanted to present some other options. Is there like a chime that Atalaska receives saying that Quasi is like approaching or at the door, or yeah, uh, uh, let's just open up.
Well, they're probably aware of the cloning taking place. They probably get like an automatic notification of, there's a Quasi being cloned on the, Northwest Bank. So they maybe have like, how long do you reckon it takes to grow a body nowadays?
Hmm.
Yeah, somewhere between 15 minutes and an hour, probably.
Okay, so they have like that much notice of my arrival.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, by all means.
Shall we cut to them showing
The
up?
boudoir.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Did we ever really end our relationship, like officially? I don't think we
I
did.
just stopped
I
Yeah,
showing.
think
do you show up at the end of business every time he has it? Between 3 to 10 years?
Yeah, and I'd left for like, 2 years, and you were like, I feel like, and then, it's like, years afterwards, I just had stopped showing up.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I imagine it's like your chambers, you're sat behind like an illustrious desk, and then I'm on a less impressive chair on the other side, and we're maybe sipping some sort of beverages.
I almost like it's not like a writing desk. It's like more like an end table or something. Like it folds out from the wall. Um, it's like a thing that you can keep things organized on, because otherwise you're just arranging things on the floor or on the bed, and then it doesn't work. It's like more for utility than anything. Like right now I have like probably like a tray of uh alcoholic beverages, just like in their bottles, and just like there's a ton
Engineered
of
to
them.
get bugs drunk.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm probably sat there like quite fidgety, sort of like, I go and sort of like smell the booze and then like put it back down without drinking. And then sort of eventually after like the silence gets too unbearable, I'm like, sorry for, turning up on such short notice. I had intended to get here during, while you weren't on holiday.
Your timing is impeccable.
Well, I'm sure for you it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm trying to be charming. Is it working?
Oh, absolutely. And then I just start like unscrewing the top. What do my hands look like? Do we think?
I think like thumb and then like another thumb. I'm on push to talk, so it's hard to mime. But imagine like thumb on each side.
Mm-hmm.
Quite
Yeah.
long.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe more joints on them.
Yeah, I like that. So it's more like
Everything in this game has too many joints.
Yeah.
I imagine you with like super impractical fake nails, but if you compare that.
Yeah. But
I
like they're
think-
curved slightly, so when you go to open a bottle, it's exactly the kind of space you need to open that bottle.
Mhm.
Like you've
Or
had your
maybe it
bottles
has-
designed to work with your nails.
Yeah, that too. But I also think it's like,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna add that there's a so you have these tentacles, and one of the interesting things about octopi is they have a fair amount of like brain matter distributed within each of the tentacles, so they literally have a mind of their own. Is there possibly any sort of like body language cues that the tentacles might be giving off that may or may not be represented in the rest of your posture?
That's super dope. So let me be open with how Atalaska is feeling right now. They feel like the relationship has not ended at all because it hasn't ever officially ended. So they're just like, hey, this thing is back after so long. I just love meeting old lovers.
And I suppose my
So
understanding.
it seems like nothing's changed at all.
Okay, great. I'm not of that opinion. Let's find out together.
Mhm.
Well, I suppose I'm trying to be charming because I'd like you to do me a favor. Well, not even you do me a favor. I just like you to get someone else that you know that knows me. I don't know them, but they know me. I'd like you to get them to do me a favor, and I'd be very thankful.
Let's hear it.
Well, there's a collective called The Deep, and they have a technique that I need. I'm working on a project. I'm trying to create something. You sort of inspired me in this way to create my own thing. I think you
You
might
two know
like
how to
it.
play me too well. And Atalaska is the easiest game. Humans are the hardest. Atalaska is the easiest. Go ahead.
Yes,
What are-
I'd just like you to put in a good word for me, but I have reason to believe that they might not be fond of me. They know about me.
What's not to love?
For what reason would anyone have to not be fond of you?
Well, I've done things. I want to do even more things, and people with a functional view of reality might not agree.
What are they complaining about you?
Well, it's just I'm trying to change how people think. I'm trying to make people have something to believe in, something that's greater than ourselves to aspire to, but it's not real. It's like that old story about a man behind a curtain, and they are aware of this, but I need them to help me anyway, and I really don't want to have to murder them all one at a time. But
You can avoid that.
I'd like to, yes.
You know, art isn't real, and art is the thing that people believe in. What are you creating art as well? What are you making that isn't real?
Well, I want it to be real. It's just the idea is real, but the idea is false, but the art itself is real. Trying to create a goddess, actually.
Sounds fantastic.
I've I've ended up becoming somewhat enamored with the female form. I know it's not really in vogue, the whole binary gender equation, but I'm a product of my upbringing. What can I say?
What does Atalaska think about the female form? Like, are they even like all on about like organic styles at all?
Well, the feminine form is usually more curvy, so you can think of it about like aesthetically,
Yeah,
like just the
like
muscle makeup.
circles and
Yeah, circles
Mhm.
versus squares.
hmm
Yeah,
That's
are
the gender
your
binary, right?
mhm. Yeah,
Mhm.
phallic
So-
rockets or booby flying saucers.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Atalaska thinks of art in those particular terms. Like, I almost feel like they're not an educated artist, like even in like
They're
I don't think they
self-educated,
even
self-taught.
talk. They don't even like talk to other artists. It's not even at that level because I think they're like maybe going for like I need to isolate my mind from other distracting sources of inspiration, and they're just like going purely off of the like I have experiences in my own life and I just make stuff out of the inspiration of that. And when that runs dry, then I just start repeating it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you create in a vacuum.
Exactly. And so I think you get like something that's like, sure, why not? And I think they're like kind of obsessed with like nebulas and like gaseous clouds because that's exactly why there's the blue flows in the atmosphere and like flashes of color that you can't see all the time.
And they're oddly like they're very transient as well because they're ever shifting and you can never really pin down the one moment they're a constant.
Mhm.
Transience is definitely a thing. Mm-hmm.
That's us shooting ideas back and forth.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if all you want is for Atalaska to put in a good word for you, they can do that.
Oh, fantastic. Well, would you like to see it?
I do have the time. And then that's when we cut to doing it. Yeah. Mhm. So am I on your
I
ship?
didn't even realize there was a double entendre there.
So yeah, you can be on my ship, and basically it's the same thing we saw before. It's like the underbelly of the ship, and there's this like heavy security door, and there's a little like porthole that you can just see like undulating through, and
Like there, it's quite something, isn't it? When we finish, you should have it devour you. It's life changing, truly.
Very
just
bracing.
so perfectly Atalaska's like aesthetic that I think you maybe get something that you haven't felt from them before because they've never thought of you as an artist before. Like your relationship has always been like, here, let me do this thing for you. Instead of here, I did this thing and look what I did. Atalaska sees it and says, certainly looks beyond anything I can imagine.
So
It's like I made it,
yeah.
but like someone else. Like like a future version of myself made it. I this astounds me in a way that you can't even imagine.
So I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. This is showing off the mech form of the goddess, not the not the goop.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
this was the ever-changing goop.
or is this the goop?
Yeah. Oh, I've not described the goddess, the mech. Yeah. Oh my god, that thing's ridiculous. Yeah, no, I was thinking it was the goop.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's a locust, then a jaguar, then a goop, then a giant
Okay.
foot.
Very Monty Python.
So yeah, I probably the colors of the goop shift sort of in the same way that appeals in the like shifting nebula motifs.
Yeah, or like oil, where the main body is black, but then there's like the iridescent reflection that has the sort of like dark, oily rainbow kind of vibe.
I almost feel like it's maybe just like it's got like 95% opacity, so you can like on the thicker parts, it's like very, very dark, but around the edges where it thins, you can see like amber light from the rest of the ship going through it.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that. And then I guess, yeah, I sort of like then go over to like the, oh, sorry, 1 second. Sorry, my keyboard's janky. Yeah, and then I sort of like take you over to the hangar. I guess as well, when you sort of give me that moment, I sort of like immediately, and I'm like,
Oh, well, yes, that's all very good. And it's that you can see the body. It's less, but it's a necessity.
you know, I just like, you know, they don't know how to accept the, you know, that, and so they're just like, whoa, let's not go into that. Let's yeah, so they just immediately change the subject, and then like
yeah, I cut it short too, and I'm like, must I wait to go closer to it?
Oh, well, yes, it's just, then you'll, would you like to be recloned here or back on your home?
I'm impatient.
Well, I mean, if you want to get right in there, I'm not going to stop you. I mean, I can clone you here, and then you can have another go. I mean,
Yeah.
And you still need to see the mech if you're seeing that, but if not, then
Yeah, and I think that there is like a knock knock from the mindscape from the goddess, leaving a message. Oh,
yep,
different. Come and play. Come and play.
Well, it seems I have an invitation, so like we've got like a little door here, and I and then over to the side and walk through it. Start going across the gangway.
I have a question.
Like
can you change it to like a 1940s style swimsuit with like the shorts and the stripes and little tank top?
Yeah.
Because that's the best swimsuit, and I imagine you like.
It's got like the belt on, you know.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm thinking like Robert De Niro when he played, not Robert De Niro, the other guy, Iron Man, when he played Charlie Chaplin. I'm thinking that.
Yeah.
Thing. But no, it's like, I guess it's just like, no, it's just like a round room with like lots of like monitors and stuff. But yeah, once you're past the door, that's it. It's go time. You're in the room with it. There's maybe like a small airlock or something, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just going in there. Is there anything like that would protect you? Like, do you have to go into like
the
any
airlock
entryway to get into it?
Yeah, you've got to go through this brief airlock, but then once you're in there, you're just, you're in there and it's go time.
Yeah, I'm like, slower than a brisk walking toward it. So if you wanted to stop me or something, that's like a probable thing. But if you don't stop me, then I'm just going in there and I'm just gonna get.
Oh, I guess I like just before you go in, I sort of like put like a data pad in front of you. Oh, just before you go in, if you could just send this the thing we talked about, just to get it out of the way, just before.
Adalaska is very foolish, and she will totally sign it. Yep.
Because the gun is playing as Hermione's terrible and
Mm-hmm.
going to change your mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like as you're going in, I'm like sort of like pressed up against the window, like sort of like you can see like my breath forming, like watching like intently.
Mm-hmm. So you see me wave, and then I just walk backwards into the goop.
I'm reminded of. Forgot the name of that. It's a movie starring Scarlett Johansson.
Lucy?
Lucy.
Or is it the one where she's like an alien?
It's the more
it's that
arty
one with the
where
black
Isn't that one Lucy?
No,
I
that
thought
one's
that
not
one was
Lucy.
Lucy.
No.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm thinking of that one where she's an alien.
Yeah, you're thinking of one where she's an alien.
Yeah.
Under the Skin.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
10 nerd points to you.
Quick Google skills.
Mm-hmm.
Take those points back. I don't want them.
Going back to the hand thing, I almost think Adalaska has 4 fingers, or like maybe a feline paw or something like that, and then 2 tendrils that come out on either side that are like more
Wiggling.
useful manipulators. Yeah.
Your thumbs are tentacles. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you're a strange cabin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that that process of being devoured is definitely definitely not painful, but
Itchy.
itchy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is it like,
But, like
in D&D with dimension jumps, like your whole inside is like there's the floor drops out and you're being turned inside out and it's hot and cold at the same time and your existence is being questioned.
Yeah, definitely like a sort of a reconciliation of opposites, and like this build of intensity, and then dispersal.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
NC-17.
Yes.
Yeah. Sort of like there's a point that experience goes up to like where you have eyes and feelings and stuff, and then like once you get beyond sensation, you've entered like a new point where it's not painful and it's weird and yeah.
So there is a roll here, which I didn't call for when Quasi-Reese leaved. I think because that was a lot more just like narrative setup.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like more actiony. Okay, so it's gonna be under reaction moves.
I see.
It's transmigrate / Reese leave.
Are you ready for me to click that button?
Sure. Aha! Okay.
That's a miss.
Yeah.
Let's see what
So,
missing resleeving does. Where is it? The resleeve move.
so choose two of a single but relevant short-term memory is lost or altered. A single but relevant long-term memory is lost or altered. Or I get to choose your new stat block. Two of those.
And I get to choose those?
Yes, you get to choose.
Okay. And I have to choose two of those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Alter my stat block and change a relevant long-term memory.
Okay. So I'm gonna do the stat block first.
I love this move.
Thank you. Okay. So first off, let me see. You were at Focus 0, Swab 2, Badass 0, Synth 1. And I think that I think that a little bit of Quasi's uh, genetics and template gets mixed in. So the new stat block is Focus -1, Suave +2, Badass +1, Synth +1.
Marvelous.
You can be my space pope.
Mm-hmm.
And the memory that's I think the memory that's altered is that where before you know the fact that you drifted apart wasn't even on the wasn't even a thing. It was
Mm-hmm.
that there's no
I didn't
noticing
recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're sort of acutely aware that you let something important almost die, and it doesn't necessarily change your feelings on the matter,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely put in terms of the failing being uh, something that you allowed to happen, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
you don't. I don't know whether you care that it's your fault, but
Do you feel regret ever? Is this like
Let me look at my faults.
a new experience for you?
Alaska's Wally remembers.
Yeah.
It's maybe not impossible that I feel regret, but I don't think I feel regret here.
Hmm.
But I do acknowledge that I did it.
cool.
And I want to fix it.
And let's see. Was oh yeah, okay. So I'm wondering if there's some advancement going on here. Uh, did either of you feel like you were playing into a fault or a bond that was creating complications. I think that there's definitely a bond creating complications.
There's nothing complicated that's going to come out of this situation.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we explored themes that are to do with our flaws and our bond, but because things went quite swimmingly, I don't know if it applies.
On my bond with Quasi, it's a reciprocal bond. Does that mean either of us can get XP if we, as it says, act out on our estrangement in a way that makes things more complicated for us?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
And while I think that this is definitely like starting to move past that estrangement, it certainly at the very least on Alaska's side had large developments that qualify.
I feel like my bond with Quasi has complicated things for me. Because now I have a new body and I feel like I have things to fix. Because like before, it's like I've got a cool art planet, and like there are people in the distance that are trying to figure out what I'm doing on that planet. But otherwise, I don't really have much that I want to do that's going on. Now I have to fix my relationship with Quasi because I've recognized that I've neglected them.
And
So if it's my choice, I would take XP for that.
Okay. And while we're on the subject of XP, we didn't really touch on it last session. Did anybody feel like they've done something playing into faults or bonds that might be XP worthy?
I had to do the terraforming, which forced me to work with capitalists. So I would say that complicated things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I played on that bond.
Oh yes. Sure.
I was going to say that I'm going through this whole convoluted process of, rather than just getting in contact with the deep directly, I'm going through this sort of third party because, one, I have the bond that they know my secret, and two, that I'm self-loathing. So because it's the whole idea where, like, so because they have my memories, I feel that they know me, and because I'm self-loathing, that then they hate me because they know me. And so because I'm self-loathing and the bond, I'm being more apprehensive rather than either A, just like using force, or B, asking nicely. See, I feel that's complicating.
Sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mark some experience, everybody.
And like, how do I even, like, if I get a certain number, do I get like +1 to being spook, or like how does XP work in this game?
So once you accumulate 5, you get an advance, and that can be that advance can be +1 to any stat, or there's a bunch of moves that are available. Yeah, just that.
So like prestige moves. Ooh,
yeah.
Fun. I want that +1 focus in my life, though. Oh, I want that. So is the next like logical thing then now me trying to get in contact with the deep?
Yeah, I think so. Before we go into that, though,
not to be like, let's make everything about me, but if we could make everything.
I played for like an hour and a half on just my person, so it's about you as long as you can make it about you.
Yeah. So let me mess with some stuff. So I think when as part of the closing of that scene, as Adalaska, hold on one moment. As Adalaska dissolves into the goddess, she contacts you, Spook, and just it's not like opening up a conversation. It's just kind of sending it out there. Thank you for the new playmate. That adds some interesting perspectives. And that I don't think I need to mark anything other than I should note that
Is there a clock involved?
Are we giving the goddess a change of descriptors or traits?
Oh god,
Or
she
are
doesn't
we-
even have one to begin with.
Yeah.
Or they have a current asset value, so if that would maybe increase or decrease. Mainly the first one.
I feel like more it's just building towards something that hasn't manifested.
Mm-hmm.
Have
Okay.
you fed it only versions of yourself, Prime, then?
Oh no. There's a whole thing where like if you complete a mission, you get to like final death,
Yeah,
where
you get
like
to meet
she
the
consumes
goddess.
you and then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But have they
But yeah, it's
been
only been
versions
versions
of you?
of me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They've all been quasis of one or another.
Yeah, I definitely let that entity come to my space so I can help you with it.
Just wait till I get to describe the vessel. Oh,
I'm excited. I love every
I
part
hope
of
you guys like Futa.
Yep. Every body is beautiful. But all the bodies all at once in one body also works.
Oh god.
So I think the other thing that happens is as we open on this scene contacting Erethin, we also see out just outside the room there's four of the clones checking over weaponry and like sub-vocalizing to each other, preparing, and they look none too pleased.
What with what's just happened? Oh, just in general. Okay, so I get gotta take that bait. So yeah, I like I rock up to them and I'm like,
well, okay, this
hello.
is I'm sorry, this is
I see.
this
Sorry,
is just
sorry.
outside the chamber,
Sure,
so
sure.
it's it's possible that there may be like a telltale sound that you might pick up on, but not necessarily.
So they're outside
Okay.
the goddess's chambers, or outside chamber that he's.
Or they're maybe even just in another room, like watching
Okay.
on a monitor, maybe if
Alright.
it's just like happening narratively.
Okay.
So yeah, from where in the ship are you? And is this how much later is this? And from where in the ship are you contacting Erethan?
It's probably like almost like maybe like after they've been consumed, there's maybe like 3 minutes of taking in the rapture and then back to business. You see, it's like just after they've been consumed, which maybe takes like 20 minutes.
Okay. So are you just like still in the hallway then?
No, I'd go up to the war room. I mean, this is like official business, so I'd go up there.
Okay. And you're contacting Erethan over the mindscape, yes?
Yeah,
Okay.
but we're like already plotting a course to like go to the planet.
Okay. And just as a reminder, the war room is sort of Spartan with a bunch of is it brushed steel?
It's got like it's metallic but quite matte. Nothing's quite shiny. If you think of like the J.J. Abrams aesthetic and then going like the other direction. Yeah, and it's like a round circular thing. Yeah, very utilitarian, very grey and boring and droll.
Okay. And when you received the call, Erethan, where are you? What does that look
the
like?
worst joke of my life. I am where I always am. I am.
Just got it.
Delay.
Because of Alcoholics Anonymous.
So, I think the communication for the mindscape is it never hits exactly the center of my collective. Like, it's like trying to like a slip and slide, like you hit it, but you kind of like bounce across and hit something else instead. Like, but it's still me, but you can never quite like there's that feeling of misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
But you just ever so slightly. And yeah, the people you reach are I love the idea of them just like sitting in like one of those old schools like 1920s like the phone connection boards, and they're just like rearranging people's minds with like memory feeds, and then like some lady in like big silver glasses like picks up and it's like, you've reached the deep, how can I help you?
Ghostbusters, we believe you.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like that mid-Atlantic accent that everyone had back in the old movie time. Well, I'll tell you, dear.
So I guess I'm like,
I'm Quasi, Prime. I believe you know who I am.
And there's like the brief hesitation, like, oh, hello, Quasi darling, how you doing? What can we help you with?
I'd like something from you. It's a technique you developed to do with integrating memories, funnily enough.
Oh yeah, you having problems with your own stuff? That happens sometimes. Well, what's the timeline you're looking with? Maybe you want to come visit, take a walk around our facilities and see what sort of suits you best. We got a whole bunch of new models coming out for the spring.
Oh, yes. Does it?
Adaptive technologies and memory wipes all integrated into a single organism.
Oh, I was under the impression that since you already had my memories, you sort of wouldn't, you'd already had what you wanted from me.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I'm not one of the I'm not one of the breakers. I don't get every memory. Was there something in specific you were referring to?
Oh no, let's.
And meanwhile, like this person is like stood up and taken like a mobile like strap with like a big telephone on it with like their headset connected to it and been like walking down a hallway.
No, it's no. I'm just interested in the technique. I just don't know. Usually when I want something from someone, I murder people for them.
Sure. That is one way to go about things. Absolutely, sir.
Do you need anyone murdered at the moment?
Oh, we take care of things mostly in house, but I appreciate the offer. I tell you what, I'm going to transfer you over to one of my managers, and they'll be able to help you out with anything you could really think about. And while you're on hold, maybe think about what colors you were thinking about for your new model. And then they just like they cut, and there's music, like do 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 do.
This is going a lot better than I expected.
Like they walk into like this, like the walls have been like just this typical hallway, like some curves, and then there's this like completely white, like sort of curved wall, and they take their headset off, and they like open a panel and put the box with the call and close it, and then walk back to their desk and get a new pair of headset out, and then about 10 minutes later you hear a voice.
Okay. Oh, so is this an actual headset, or is this like the mental picture within the mindscape?
Kind of like a mental picture within the mindscape. Okay. Like there are divisions. They can't deal with everything all at once. And like I said, there are filtrations and protections, and that's sort of part of it. So you're getting to like a layer in. Like I think a while ago, I have on my notes, it's 2 circles and a parentheses, and there's a circle in the middle. And that's sort of how my structure is built. It's like a nesting doll, but it like fractals in. Yeah. And you can never be too careful. And your voice is like, "Thank you for holding, Quasi. I've been expecting your call."
Oh,
no need to repeat yourself.
Well, what's your answer then? Can I have the thing?
You understand we have some concerns as to the application of such technologies, and we wanted to make sure that you were doing okay.
Well, it's a strictly one-time sort of deal, so you could oversee the procedure, and then we wouldn't actually ever have the proprietary technology ourselves. We could get it done in-house, as it were.
Oh, that would be wonderful. And then, like,
also,
there's like a launch off the planet in the distance. Yes, I find that most agreeable.
Oh, also, I have a recommendation. I thought I was expecting you to hang up on me, and then I'd need a recommendation. So I kind of have a recommendation, but it turns out I didn't really.
Oh yes, we know.
And I sort of like flick it up.
Yeah, you're like, we have this, and you're like, yeah, like in that voice, like I knew what grade you were gonna get before you took the test. Like my people on the planet knew you were also there, and yeah, that's sort of.
Just one more thing. Just obviously, this is between you.
Discretion will be held at the utmost level, don't you?
Okay, I was just worried about your notion of you and me, considering there's lots of yous and it might not seem like there's lots of me's, but there aren't lots of me's. There's just the one me, but that's fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, there's only one you. There is only one me. And I think we could work together very well.
Oh, well, see, we're learning more. Well, I'm learning about you. You obviously know about me already. Well, yes, great. Well, I'll head over and we'll
no more than a friendly neighbor would help with a cup of sugar.
Once again, if you ever need anyone murdered, I'm really quite proficient.
Absolutely. We will. And then there's this pause, like, keep that in mind.
And I'm not just talking their body. I'll track down the server and destroy their mind state as well. I'm talking final death, gone from the universe. I'll make it happen for you.
There may be something you could help us with in the future. We understand you have a rather effective way of... Yeah, there's like these like glitches of like, if you were thinking of it like in an audio section, like the A's and some of the words like go on for slightly too long. Like there's not like a stutter in it, but there's that space that would cover it up. And they're like, we shall discuss this further, but we really do appreciate you working so well, and we're excited to get to know you more. It's been a long time since we've had a good conversation.
Oh, well, we'll be, we're all, we're full thrusters, so, we'll see you soon. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
We've sent some ships to rendezvous. Yeah,
and then they like hang up like
and then there's like a beeping of like incoming. It's like they're already approaching, but they're still a ways out, but not like you can track, I imagine, in the future, like very far away.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've registered launches from the planet's surface during that call if you were looking.
Well, I imagine it's like the sort of distance where it's like, if you like say you had a really enormous planet, you need to detect that like from really far away so that you can like adjust for like the gravity of it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the gravity's too much and you'll just get trapped in it or waste a lot of fuel trying to get out of the gravitational well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that distance.
Yeah. Good call. We had a good, nice phone call. It was relaxing.
Yeah.
Well.
Yes. Let me closer to this project you're working on.
So speaking of that project, it sure looks like you were getting what you needed to complete this portion of it. So there's a role there on the long-term project move.
Okay, so like how hard can I game the system for this? As in, can I be like, so like my my sort of default body, my sort of stat line that I have is the sort of like ninjas might attack at any moment stat line. But could I re-sleeve to my brain bug stat line to do this role because gaming the system is important?
Sure. I mean, you for that you'd need to make a re-sleeve roll, so
Sure.
there might be consequences. But yeah, you can do that if you want.
I don't know. I mean, is that something other players of the system have done?
No, they haven't. It's
okay.
new territory.
Well, okay. Well, I'm going to try and abuse it to see if it's a problem or not. So
okay.
Let's do that. Shall I push the button?
Sure. Do it.
Oh, my body!
Okay. So yeah, you get to choose two options from a single short-term memory being lost or altered, a long-term memory being lost or altered, or
Wow.
choosing that stat block that you were hoping to choose to make a brain bug.
Well, I have the worst stat block already for being a brain bug, so whatever you choose, it'll be better than my current stat line, half foiled, so we'll take that for one. And then Once again, sorry to be that guy, but I am ninjas might attack at any time. And then we'll take short-term memory altered.
Okay. So I think that I think that how this plays out is as you close the call and you're like turning to you're about to go march into the goddess to recycle yourself. The the door opens and there's that team of views, and they say, "How dare you let her be corrupted?" And they sling a whole bunch of large caliber and high energy weaponry your way. And we could make a roll of it, but you're planning to re-sleep anyway, so and I think sort of coded into this is because you just died violently, and it might be part of a mutiny, although I think they just wanted like that bit of vengeance. When you come back out, it's still with the ninjas might attack anytime stat line.
Ninja stat line. Okay, cool.
And I also think that you awake with like adrenaline already going, like something something must be done now, but you don't remember actually the mutiny.
Oh, great. Okay, brilliant. Oh, that's perfect. Nice. I like that. Okay, cool. And now I'll just bosh this roll. And is this the long-term project roll? Is that right?
Yes, probably.
Oh, my body.
Man.
My
Brutal.
tight supple body. Christ.
Brutal. Okay. Well.
I mean, I deserve this. Just, I completely deserve
It's
this.
unfair, but you deserve it.
Correct.
So yeah, an extra complication arises. I think that
I have a.
Uh-huh.
Our agreement where he gets to kill people, that it's when my people are done helping him put the goddess in this new body, doing that thing, they go into the goddess. I'm seeding it with my ideals.
Okay. So
I mean, if that works, that's.
I mean,
That was my long-term goal.
Okay.
I mean, I
think
that I don't know what these other cats are about. With I'm gonna have to talk to them when I remember that happened.
You go back over the film, you're like, wait a second, these guys, such jokers.
So I think that absolutely the goddess is gonna have extra influences, like both from Erethin and from Atalaska.
Mm-hmm.
But I think mechanically, and the complication in the project is that in addition to its existing flaws, it'll have another dangerous flaw.
Independence. That's a dangerous plot.
Could we as well maybe like, so it has the existing floor of like it likes eating quasis, and could we maybe upgrade that to it just likes eating other sentients? Just it's broadened its palate.
Oh yes, yes.
And that's how the Elder Gods were created.
To collect them all.
Cthulhu Fitaga. I dig on.
What a wonderful phrase.
Well, it actually isn't in the future, it's in the very far past. That's what it is.
There.
Okay.
Oh, so this is actually just while we're doing sort of like shit posting each other. I wanted to check just one sort of like lore point in the universe. Is it one of those things where like no one really remembers old Earth, or has like culture survived? You know, is like music and historical figures and stuff still around from Earth, or is that just like way too far back to even, or in the future to even, you know?
I think that yes, there's all the information from old Earth. Old Earth still exists, but
it's irrelevant.
Well, no, it's not that it's irrelevant. It's that it's complicated by essentially multiple viewpoints on the past. It's not like there's multiple places that consider themselves to be the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nice.
yeah, and the history is slightly different on each of them, and the setup is slightly different on each of them. Like there's a couple of old Earths where there's a citizen in charge, making it seem like it's nothing has changed since the 21st century. It's the meta society doesn't exist. It's just this. There's an old Earth that's Earth yet integrated into being a core world of the Eschaton. And
But
there's
as in, we
also
still have like, you know, classical music and Justin Bieber and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
For sure.
Like, cool, because I referenced the Wizard of Oz, and I just wanted to check that.
Yeah.
Like if
There have been many wizards and many Oz's.
Yes, and of course, praise
And
be
when
to
you say
Stardust.
curtain, it could mean a whole bunch of different stuff. So yeah,
yeah, I mean it's
there
layered.
was once an iron one.
yeah.
Great
communist Oz.
It's layered over with a bunch of other influences, but all the old Earth influences are still are still there.
And it's like we know the song Black Betty, but we don't know which the original and which the covers are. We don't really know who did Black Betty first, but just that they're out there.
Yeah, it's one of those things like if two people on the opposite side of the planet think of the same thing at the same time. Yeah, but galactically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people think the Boss Hoss version of Word Up is the original, and I'm okay with that.
Look that up. But okay, so before we get back to what's going on with let's.
I mean, does Atalaska have anything to do with like the secret capitalists that are just outside his planet?
Oh, for sure.
Because I imagine like your people like watched us leave, and they're like, "Yeah, they got help from this giant ship that was just outside your planet." And you're like, "What?"
Mm-hmm. So, how do I look after I've been recycled?
You tell me.
Okay, cool. We are going to. I think I come out like, ooh, I sort of like this. I think I come out like Greek god hyper masculine, like very human.
Mm-hmm. Like those Turkish wrestlers, they're just like super buff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I will
'Cause I
mention
was
those
also
at any
thinking-
chance I can.
Yeah, I was also thinking like super bronze skin
Mhm.
as well. So I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
fuck yeah.
And somehow oily. Oh.
Oh, yes.
Glistening.
Look, I just came out of this oil thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, you go to throw on a shirt and then stretch slightly and it just flies off.
Yeah. All your clothes have to be redone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you still have the neck frills though?
Um.
But just super butch ones.
Yeah, like they're angular now. They're like, neat, 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 neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Hmm.
So
They have square spectral suckers instead of round spectral. That's the gender thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
so
See, I think I
also,
maybe come out with like super pointy bones as well.
Mm.
Like where you can see like a collarbone, it's just like you can see like the skin stretching to match the point that's like under and like to like you know how men have like a forehead ridge that you have to compensate for when you're drawing. It's almost like I have like forehead ridges everywhere, and it's just like
You're slightly
bony
too
ridges.
angular.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I like that.
and was this new form intentional? It's quite possible that you came out in that this new form was not like you were aiming for either your normal thing or something else, and came out with this result. Is that the case, or is this?
It's intentional in that at some point during the process, I surrendered control of the process to the goddess, and the goddess outputted this form.
Okay.
This is what the goddess came up with, but I had that choice and I made it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think one thing we should note before moving on is that there's a couple of a couple of like minor details in terms of like coloration or exact form that you just have this feeling are not exactly what the goddess intended. It's not like physically problematic or even if you didn't know what you're looking for, there'd be nothing to notice, but something's slightly off, and you get a bunch of reports from others on your others on Labra that the receiving machine has been doing some wonky stuff. Like, nothing disastrous, but wrong and aesthetically off.
Outside influence.
So maybe disastrous in that it's slightly aesthetically off.
hmm
I'm sorry.
This is the re-sleeving machine on my planet, or
yes.
oh, okay. So now I'm a little confused. I went into the goddess to re-sleeve, or I went into the goddess and like the goddess is an input, and then the re-sleeving machine on my planet is an output.
That.
Yes, like
Yes,
it was.
okay.
Yeah, registered
Gotcha.
that your body had died, and it's
Gotcha.
it's uh, hmm. No, I guess I may have fucked this up in that if you intended to come back out uh, quasi ship, then that would change things. But if you then like,
I think it's kind of interesting um if Adalaska now if he goes into the goddess to re-sleeve, knowing that it's like, hey, welcome me onto your new ship, and this is a new experience that you have. I'm going to experience it, and then the place that I show up right after is on my own planet, instead of coming back out and then us processing that together.
sounds good.
Ice cold.
Cool. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it just like wandered off like I usually do.
Some other concern.
hmm But now I know that that's the thing that I'm doing. That's the thing
Yeah.
that I do. I don't like it.
You wander off.
hmm
So
Oh, and then another. You said that the coloration was off.
slightly.
I think it's slightly like red. Like I seem like very sunburnt.
Yeah, you're like a reddish tan instead of that like olive
Mhm.
tan that you were looking for.
hmm Yeah.
Yeah. Sunburnt rather than perfect, or slightly sunburnt rather than perfectly bronzed.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Damn it!
I've never had a sunburn. What's that like? I hear it's bad.
hmm
My brother was pale and it was terrible.
hmm
yeah, it's just
It's not good.
red and uncomfortable and skin peels and yeah.
But you can make interesting designs. Like you set something on your back and then you just lay in the sun for 3 hours and you have a cool
Mhm.
pattern, right? That's.
But then you can't. The thing with the sunburn is you can't sleep the night after because your skin's peeling and you're so itchy that you can't sleep.
Hmm.
If you have a really bad sunburn, that's a thing.
Sounds terrible.
I'm
sorry.
It is terrible. Yeah.
And it certainly is possible to put in a pattern by sunning yourself with parts covered, like
Yeah. And then you tan that way.
There's a bit of a farmer tan going on there, but but I think it would require multiple exposures.
Mm.
Maybe.
But even if you don't burn, you should still use product.
Yes.
Mhm.
Or just never go in the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh god, I hate direct sunlight.
The worst.
One of the benefits of England is that it's like overcast like 95% of the time. You rarely have screen glare. It's really quite pleasant.
Yeah. It's been sunnier lately here, and it's just during the summer, aka August and September. It's not. Yeah, it's not. I'm glad it's cloudy.
So, Erethin,
Hello.
you've got video of the the squee squee you're working on and native squee squee interacting.
Chuck, like you named these.
Oh no!
There's a group of engineers that are petitioning to speak with you.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's what this
there's oh yeah there's some potentially what else is going on? There's
I sent a ship to intercede and intersect with our good pals.
Yeah.
I'd like to do a scene with other people if possible, because I spent a lot of the early game just sort of.
Absolutely.
Although it is fun and good, some of the scenes do go on for a bit, and I want to make sure.
Also, Capstone is in the process of delivering. They're like deorbiting and delivering terraforming machinery. So there's
there's a lot going on.
I was curious very early on what the terraforming machine actually looks like.
So
it's enormous.
Yeah,
So
I pictured it like the size of a house, but then there's shed-sized ones, and it just looks like an industrial machine. Like it's got like a big wheel on one part, and it's got like a cylinder and like some things that spout out. But it's just like this pile of machine with a little dog inside, and all of the machines. And that
on the wheel that powers the machine.
Exactly. And like each of them has to have the dog. Like I could have gotten the plans myself, but there's a specialty breed of dog that like the timbre of their bark like activates the safety protocol. So canon. Yeah. And it's like, you know those old cartoons that like the conveyor belt, the dun 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 da, 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 like that thing where it's like there's like billows and like puffs of steam, and there's like things that go out, like the big thing in the Willy Wonka factory that's under the cloth, but you just see a bunch of stuff moving. It's like that.
I almost feel like there's also like maybe like tubes that connect to other like modules of it, because like terraforming, like normally when you think of terraforming, it's like you restructure like the earth, not just like, and like a lot of the stuff that I'm doing on my planet is like atmospheric as well, so I imagine that there's like other modules that are plugged into mine at least that also like manipulate the atmosphere and probably other things that I'm not thinking of and we haven't discussed yet, like maybe
so it's affecting we have to put it like just outside the city, but there's like a ring of them, and we're gonna start like just changing the planet like that goes around. Like that's my long-term goal, is to get to the other side. Because
like maybe there's another
the flora and fauna are dangerous. I can't just put those things everywhere. The technicians would die and have died. They have died so many deaths.
It's annoying.
And I think like another one of the modules is like something to deal with flora. Like it's like has something to do with like altering genetics of plants.
Yeah, it's like a calming agent. And also like it's a calming agent for the fauna, but also like a mild, not pesticide, like a weed killer. Like a weed dampener, not killer.
It affects like the seeds of the current plant, so that the next generation is a little bit
it's
vicious.
very slow. And also it's trying to regulate like the ozone, so like it's less varied on the temperature. So, there's a lot going on which is
Yeah.
all powered by this little dog. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's like a super smart machine as well. Like all of the modules know how to, like, the reason this machine is so expensive is that all of the modules know how to work together to create like sustainable like transition, as opposed to just like, let's just destroy this whole thing and then like weird grass will pop out of the grass pit.
You like the slow fade from one scene to another.
Mm-hmm.
And we are still living on this planet, so we can't destroy it to rebuild it because we're still here. Yeah.
Would be inconvenient.
Yes.
I like this planet. It's where I keep all my stuff.
Yeah. I keep all my people here. My stuff.
Yeah.
So
it sort of like rings the city as it is. Yeah.
So yeah, there, around the city, there's like this mist going up in a circle as
and at first it looks like that horrible blue that just clashes with everything, and then my programs are like, hold on.
That's not gonna do.
Yeah, it's like that's not gonna do.
Yeah.
So which of these things do you want to take a look at? And
we're going to 4, right?
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, there's.
What's the least complicated thing to do? Well, we could do the meeting scene between my people and. I keep thinking like Orion, Prism. I'm like, no, that's not your name. It's so close to your name. It's not actually your name. Quasi. That's what it is.
Yes.
As I'm remembering the shapes of the letters, this isn't working out for me. Yeah, so my people rendezvousing with Quasi would like to do.
And Adam, if you'd like to be part of this, we did create an NPC who is part of the post-human cult faction of Quasis that could be there.
The illustrious order of the unbound goddess.
Yes.
We all knew that name. We're just waiting for you to say it.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, if it pops up, then hell yeah. Otherwise, I'd love to just watch this happen.
Okay. So is this like first meeting like on a umbilical between ships? Or on one side or the other in an airlock, just outside of an airlock?
I think it's up to Quasi because my people like left to visit them. So, how would you receive my people?
Well, I think it would probably be like that. You would, there'd be like an agreed upon like meeting point where you're gonna like dock with each other, and then you get like a blip on your sensors that like, oh, you've detected a ship, and then like you turn around and I'm just there. I'm like already on your ship. I've like ninja'd in without your notice, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Yes. I think like it's a fully stocked crew, but yeah, I don't think you would notice anything different about them. So yeah, you there's on the ship is decked out with like 20 or so people, and they have the different modules, but it's all like broken apart, so you need them to, and there's like packing crates, and they're all welcome Quasi. Hello. Welcome to our
Hello. Hi there. Hello.
Hi. Yes. Well, if you would, well, let us know where we'll be working to help you out.
Yes,
That'd be
yes.
fantastic.
Brilliant. Follow me. We're docking now. Sorry, I like to appear out of the shadows. It's meant to make me seem foreboding and powerful.
It was very unnerving. Well done. You did it.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I do try. I really do. Okay, yes. Well, I actually don't know the layout that well. Where's the airlock?
They point and like it's just behind you.
Oh, brilliant! Well, come along then. Come along.
Yes.
Come on. Hello.
Yes. All right, and like 4 of them stay on the ship, and the rest go with you. Just to start like unpacking. They're like, just let us know when you're done. And they like 3 of them have clipboards, and they're all like writing down in synchronicity. Yeah, they follow you wherever you lead them.
Cool. So
Whatever. Dark future.
Yeah. I should point out that there's quasi, unless you're doing something specifically to discourage this, a bunch of a bunch of your crew is like they're right there at the airlock, fully armed, but not like pointing them or anything.
A common greeting, heavily armed. Show up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I sort of like turn like between the two groups, and I'll like rock over to the armed groups, and I'm like,
This is what you wanted, remember? This is what you asked me to do, and I agreed because I thought that you were right. Now I'm doing it, so if you could not murder them until after they've done the thing, I would appreciate it just so very much, so very, very much.
We have no weapons. Like, nothing even, like, moderately hostile. Our screwdrivers have, like, rubber handles. It's...
So anyway, this is the hangar bay.
Yes.
We have a few breaching pods, and this is the what we're calling the vessel. This is what we'd like you to put the mind state into.
and it's like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Me 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 music video, but it's kind of like that. It's like a feminine form. It's like sort of sheer black with like sort of gold etchings, and like the hair is like made of like solid gold, but it still like moves like hair, and like the feet like it sort of like appears to be naked, but at the same time the feet are still high heels, and like it's just oh yeah, and it's got like a massive schlong as well, and it's just really just this just horrible tacky like hypersexual just like weird aggressive
aggressively
just
hypersexual.
yeah, it's like this aggressively hypersexual, but also it is quite beautiful and artisan. Like if you zoom in on a bit and just see like the gold etching against the black, like that's quite pleasant, but then like the whole thing is just really like sensory overload. It's just a giant mecha sex robot.
Okay. Oh, and I should mention that the response to you saying that this is what we agreed to, this is what is just sort of a slow, non-committal nod.
Okay, I mean, I'm gonna have to probe into that, but
okay.
And then I like lead them to like the basically the airlock where the spirit is kept,
and this is the current mind state. It's an amorphous, fluctuating biomechanical state. It's quite impressive, if you ask me.
Someone's tried to make a sketch of it, and then it changes, and they like frown, and they like do, and then it changes, and they yeah, like kind of fold the paper over and like tuck it under their arm, like yeah.
Not to oversimplify things, but we can't put the square peg in the square hole if by the time we're trying to put it in, the pegs change what shape it is. Also, it's quite got the appetite, so watch your extremities and your intremities too, I suppose.
Yeah. One of them steps forward, and you can see that they're sort of like more simply dressed than the other. Like they don't have as much like tat, and they're like, we're aware of certain communication, and it causes like difficulties between yourself and they like bow a little bit, entity. We have heard that the best way to interact may be direct involvement. Like, they're not using the word sacrifice or murder or consummation. What they are. We are prepared to
These parts, we call it worship.
worship. Yes. That's all they say. But if you would
Well,
allow...
sure, I mean, all must worship the goddess. I mean, by all means.
We have
But
enough to...
a number of the crew like narrow their eyes at this whole idea of
Okay, so I like lock eye contact. Say,
Do you disagree? You said we were to make the goddess ready for the universe, make the universe ready for the goddess. All must worship.
that's like one of the bullshit mantras, like the no sleep, only death is like almost worship.
Are these not all? Do you have a different definition of all to me? Do you have a different definition of worship to me? Or is it that you have a different definition of the goddess to me? What is it? Speak your mind.
This definitely sounds like a role, like a
Okay.
yeah. This is a troop commander.
I
Just
like
straight
how-
up troop commander.
Yep, totally.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
I like how in that
then-
statement he just like combined a bunch of things in parallel that are not like parallel to each other at all. It's just
That's
like,
religion!
is
You
this
didn't
not
get
your
it.
definition of all? No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is this
This
not your
is-
definition of worship?
This is how you role playing game. Okay. You fudge a
Yeah.
load of roles that don't seem like they matter, or do seem like they matter, but they don't really matter. All these roles I felt today, they don't really matter. This role, though, this is the one. This is the
You
one.
should have
We've
said
been
that
saving it
after
up.
it.
No, always tempt fate. Always tempt fate.
You're building a goddess in a
okay.
basement, so...
I have to
I mean, if
scroll
you
down
turn it
what-
sideways, it's infinity, which is the highest score.
Okay, I'll take that. I will gladly take that. That's a success in my book. The numbers aren't red. I'll ship it.
Nice.
Oh, that's the best day I've ever rolled in my life. Oh.
So they either back down as you wish, but you have to promise them something or threaten them. Although, gee, that seems like the threat already happened, sort of. They'll do it, but resentfully, or they'll start acting upon what you're asking for, but change their minds if it starts to go badly.
I'm gonna once again go with the they'll do it, but they have another. Oh, but actually, even though you're doing everything we wanted, there's actually now an even another thing that we wanted. Do I get to know what the thing is before I accept, or do I just take the option and then it happens?
Secret clocks. So many clocks.
Yes. Let me see. I think. Okay, so essentially, you're. Well, is there something that you're that sort of coded in this that you're promising? Just that it's that this is going to happen quickly, or?
Yeah, I mean,
it's
my
just
point
a
of view.
doctrinal point that, and it's something else.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like we've got the two separate issues of I'm trying to do everything they want, and now they've decided that they're not okay with, this whole idea of like tainting the goddess, even though I don't remember it. But I'm really not a fan of that element because I want everything in this whole universe to get fed into that gorgeous pile of goo.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I'm asking, is there a resolution to this where that element can be downplayed by, it causes other problems?
Sure. Okay, yeah, I think what that sounds most like is the third one, where they accept that yes, the doctrine is that all must worship the goddess, but if there's an indication along the way that this that they're like other concerned that the process of this worship is corrupting her, then they'll react particularly badly.
Okay, or could we maybe do a thing where I agree to, in order to be worthy to worship, you have to go through a trial, and all must take these trials so that all must worship, but all
sure.
must still go through this.
Can you instigate it after
process.
I drop one of my people?
Yeah.
Oh, totes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got you, friend. I got you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that would be promising them something, and that would.
Yeah, great. If I can promise them that, and that like whoop, resolves it, then yeah.
Sure.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem.
Cool. I will write that down on my fucking character sheet then.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
I love this game, by
the way. So, how is it that do you suggest something about how Aerothin can prove themselves, or do you leave that up to Aerothin? Do you leave that up to them?
Well, once again, I'd go with the, like, we all want to get the spirit and the vessel combined, and they are literally essential to that. So that's what makes them worthy.
Yeah, we are here willing to do it. And I think we don't have any, like, our ship is very, like, fresh printed. Like, there's no, besides our work outfits, there's no, like, big sign of our organization. Like, we don't bring branding with us on these things to better integrate ourselves to the society. And I think, like the corporation did to us, like Capstone-ism did to us, we took some of the designs that we know Quasi has and sort of very subtly worked those into our aesthetic. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But I know you have different job clone timeline people. Like, I'm not sure. Yeah, job clone timeline people. I think they designed their outfits to be like the servitude class. So when you see them, you don't just see, one of us. You see one of those meant to serve, like one of the lower, like below rank, or you can tell them to do anything like that. Oh, we can talk freely. It's just us and these 4 servants. Like that joke. Like, we're alone here. And then there's like 3 butlers in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like a camouflage. Of societal camouflage. If that is clear.
Yeah.
So, yes, that sounds like sounds like what you're looking to do is that, like, are you asserting, are you manufacturing some sort of consent here? Are you, I don't know, it doesn't quite sound like, that. It sounds
like,
more like
should I do a roll to see how well I did that?
Yeah. I think that's more like
infiltrate?
Sure. Okay. Well, okay. So I could see it being either an infiltrate that's like right in your face, but with like this subtle undertone that's like, yeah.
Yeah, because the things are
yeah.
The targeted organization is alerted. communicate and leave it will. It's sort of like a yeah.
So, I
I'm
guess
not sure how
what are you
infiltrate
trying
works, though, so.
to do with these cultural hooks? What
Put
do you
them
want to
at
achieve?
ease and make them make my people. I know there's a heightened awareness of it, but kind of like bring it back down to like a normal visiting, non-hostile person. Like go from suspicious outsider who wants to corrupt our goddess to suspicious outsider, like, or just suspicious person who might have their own agenda. Like not as just bring the level of threat down one notch.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's within my power to do. So that's
that
seems like quasi steal. So
yeah, I think what that sounds most like is that you're attempting to alter the disposition of another organization with propagandists.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that works.
Okay, so let me see. Uh, let's well, okay, we're at 4 now, but so I think we'll like define the propagandists next session.
Okay.
I'll make a note to do that, that we need to do that at session opening.
Yeah, because it's like propaganda and infiltration. Like it just wants to get those unconscious cues of, oh, you don't have to bother. Like we're not harmful to anyone, which is why we didn't have weapons when we came on. But mechanically doing that is tricky. So. So did you successfully negotiate with your people? Did we finish that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They are on board as long as your people are willing to make some gesture of sacrifice or like purification.
So I basically like animal farmed it, where previously it was like almost worship, and now it's like almost worship. Only the worthy may worship. All must be made worthy.
Mm-hmm.
So, propagandists are. Oh, I didn't update that, but they're a 3 wuffy thing. Want to make a convenient acquisition for.
Well, you said we were going to do that next game, so we might as well just wait.
Okay,
until...
but well, I do want to.
I'm just saying,
want to like go through the assigning traits to the next game, but I do want to go ahead and make the roles of acquiring them on this session and of
so what is propaganda pressure. Under? Asserting political pressure? Is that the one he's doing?
Yes, but first it's convenient acquisition. The thing that you want is through Woofy.
Well, I'm not gonna get it.
Oof.
Yeah, okay. That's real bad. My fashions are too outdated.
So let me see. Is that your massive problems with the propagandists themselves, or
can we figure that out?
I think what happens is that
we can figure out next time. We could stick with this failure and then.
I think you just you have some people that were supposed to be designing this intricate way of like hooking into the the cult's minds, and they're just not there. Like they haven't been organized enough to do that effectively.
Yeah, it just didn't work. So yeah.
So yeah, it's just the move itself was never triggered.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Cool.
So
Is that the end of the game?
yeah, I mean, I feel like I should have like some
Cliffhanger?
ending.
Cliffhanger.
Well, not necessarily a cliffhanger, but like some sort of GM fuckery to as we close. But I'm drawing a blank. So
That's okay.
I'll make a note to open up with some GM fuckery.
All right. Fair trade.
Next time on Hacking Infinity, GM fuckery.
So thank you all so much for continuing to hang with this. I'm having a great time.
Mhm.
Let me see. Does anybody want to talk a bit about what the cool things that they're doing online, and where people can find them and stuff like that?
Immediately after this, if you go to twitch.tv/theposhpanda, I'll be drawing and coloring more RPG icons, and otherwise on Twitter at adazer or Instagram at adasergram.
And Patreon.
And Gene_adaser at Patreon. And also on Gumroad for him releasing my RPG pals and packs for icons for digital play. I got so many things.
Awesome.
That's all.
Fanciness.
Mm.
Quasi,
It's all the
what do you
same
do?
thing.
My name's Spook. I had so much fun this time. It's just really pleasant to like be this like creepy, weird guy and just have people be like up for your creepy weirdness. If you'd like to Patreon me, give it to fucking charity instead. Pew pew pew. Pick your favorite. And yeah, that's me. Enjoy, everyone.
Yeah, I love your voice for this.
Well, that's actually
so...
why I resleeved, because I felt we all had like the same voice, and so like it just I'm an enlightened being, and so I was like, I need to resleeve and change my voice.
Mm-hmm.
The next one's going to be like super nasal, but anyway, it's
Yeah. Hi, I'm Dark Lavender Void. I'm Spoopy.
True.
And the Spoop has a Patreon, and a Twitch and a Twitter and many other things, which is under the umbrella of Dark Lavender Void. On Twitter, Dark Lavender Void. Lavender only has one E in it because I had to spell lavender like you spell Tumblr. If you search Dark Lavender Void, though, I'm pretty sure I'll just pop up anyway, because now that's my username again, because I didn't have any good ideas for Halloween usernames, so I just went back to Dark
The darkest Lavender Void?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nah. Yeah.
Yeah, even without alteration, I think it has Halloween cred.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm making a game called Mortally Bankrupt, which is a game about where your reality TV stars who are being watched by Ultrators, and that game's great, and it's consuming my life.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. You can find me here at twitch.tv/rpglory or mixer.com/rpglory. You can find archives. You may be looking at an archive right now on YouTube/c/rpglory. and if you want to complain or praise or otherwise communicate with me directly through Twitter, that's RPGlory DOTCOM. I will be, in theory, back tomorrow to play probably some sort of video game or maybe like a one-on-one RPG thing at 4 p.m. Pacific. And then that's Sunday. And then on Wednesday, we will actually be launching session 1 of Innocence Lost, which is the Veil with later on there'll be flashbacks to Tales from the Loop. That got missed this week due to California wildfires.
I see some of the smoke has coalesced behind you into some sort of terrifying figure of darkness.
Meow.
She's monstrous and sweet. So thanks again, everybody. If you enjoyed this, please do follow, subscribe, share, all that thing. Super appreciated.
Like